no, that it's not practical. And I'm hearing another one saying that if it creates a preferred structure, it is practicable. I'm hearing both.
Right.
And
So
is
I
that
have
we
it
wanna-
written just as a, I have it written as a non-judgment, just as a lever. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's a decision point that needs to come through?
That's how I've written it.
Yeah, maybe it would be useful to distinguish between principles, which were where we started, you know, our duty, what is our duty? To enforce the law or to carry out its directives. What are the principles under which we operate? Number one, that we have the authority to do so. And number two, that authority takes precedence over local votes and other things. That was a principle I proposed. There's no agreement about that, but what you're describing are what you might consider considerations, which, when taken together either singly or in some combination, might rise to the level of constituting impracticability. Is that a fair way to put this?
And from what I'm hearing then, that's when we start making actual decision points, that we start considering, because it says consider these different things, and because these cases are different, and as we look at some of these cases, some submitted Section 9 proposals and some did not. So does that play into the decision if there's a local vote but no Section 9 proposal? What do you do with that? So that's where it gets complicated. So it may be, as Stacy's suggesting, that we have a list of things to consider, and while we're looking at the plan, there's no one fast rule. I think that's the problem with practicable, is that there's no one definition. So there is, and it's not going to be, I'm sure people want us to have a definitive answer, if this, then yes, no. So it's not going to be that easy. And that's what makes this the hard work. And it's just hard work even deciding what is practicable.
Well, I thought our work right now was simply to compile a list of possible considerations.
Yes.
We have not reached agreement on the definitive list.
No.
So so it's on the list, but anything on there might be removed as a consideration that's valid.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Do we have a written timely Section 9 proposal on the list?
I just wrote that.
Okay.
So-
That we did write it down.
I didn't say timely, but I can say.
Yeah, timely. I mean,
And duly authorized.
Yeah.
Because I found one example where it was never even authorized.
Yeah, I think that's, in order for me to consider it, I think that's an absolute must, is that they had to file a duly authorized, timely Section 9 proposal,
Okay.
in my own opinion.
So if we have that on the list, that, this idea that, in the Section 9 proposal, it meets the requirements under law. I would have that too, because there's some specifics in the law on what it must require. And of course, that idea that the SU must look at students as all of their students and how that plays out within the plan. All right, we're coming up close to an afternoon break, and just wanted to give you some other food for thought. On page 126 is another sort of philosophical.
Oh, sorry, just before we move
Yeah.
on from that one. So I had two presumptions. So one is that the where a MUD creates a preferred district, but I would also say anything that's a MUD or an NMED, the presumption is that a merger is the best path forward.
So that would be on the list of considerations. Okay, so this on page let me make sure I have this right. Yeah, 126 in the Secretary's plan, it talks about districts for which merger is possible, but merger is also practicable, and or is retaining the same structure best, ? And so in this one, it does, sorry, on page 125, right before it, that's where it starts. So it talks about each defined group of districts is a single district responsible for pre-K through 12 and its resident students. In some instances, the district consists of one town, while other multiple town union districts were created many years ago. So the districts discussed in this part are divided into two categories. Districts for which the merger is possible, but for which the state board will want to explore whether creation of a unified union school district is practicable, and whether retaining the current structure is the best way to achieve Act 46 goals under the subheading, districts where a merger is possible, but is it practicable? And then the other one, districts for which the merger is impossible, impracticable, or both due to geography and/or operating/tuition structures of neighboring districts are under the superheading districts for which merger is either possible or not practicable, or both. So, that's a lot. So within this section, it's really trying to examine those, and we've looked at some of them already, and how the secretary has weighed in. The one that you might want to look at is 21. This is the Blue Mountain, and as you go through in this one, we didn't discuss it earlier, but on page 131. They have the secretary believes that the means of Act 46 for each district individually and for the region is for the state board to merge the governance structures of the Blue Mountain Union School District, the Bradford School District, the Newberry School District, and the Oxbow Union High School District into a single unified union school district that provides for the education of its pre-K through 12 students by operating multiple schools. This one was a complicated case, if you remember, because this supervisory union isn't following current law. So they didn't merge in areas that they've been asked to merge before, including special ed and transportation. So that's where I think it's on page, where is it?
We said something about that in Act 49, if I recall. Donna?
I'm sorry.
It's in the particularly section.
That issue of compliance on the SU responsibilities, I seem to remember we said something about that in Act 49.
Yeah.
Yes, Act 49, one of the, in the alternative governance structure guidance that the Act 49 amended from Act 46, the provision about, hold on a second, the compliance about maximizing efficiencies. In Act 49, the legislature added and complies with Section 261, essentially, Section 261A. So it was the AGS guidance in Act 46 was quite general about maximizing efficiencies, and then there was some additional specificity given to it in Act 49. Among that specificity was complies with 261A.
So, yeah, I just pulled it up now. So this is basically saying that if your SU is not in compliance with 16 VSA 261A, that basically restricts your...
This is all, I mean, that's part of what's difficult about all of this is guidance.
Yep.
And it specifically says that an AGS may meet the state's goals, particularly if.
Yep.
So it's, there are a lot of qualifiers there. It's not giving you, it's certainly telling you to consider this. I don't know that it's giving you a direct answer one way or another about how heavily to weight it.
And so that was some of the criteria is, do we have a principle about school districts that have not been, or supervisory unions that have not been functioning as they should, and does that weigh into decision making? And it's a principle that we have to decide as a board. So these are areas that have not been following law, and they're asking for a carve out from this law, from 46. So what is the principle of the board?
I just think it goes more to practicability in terms of their ability to implement the law. These districts had difficulty implementing Act 153 or the virtual merger provisions of Act 156 as it pertains to special education. This is going to be a challenge for them as well. At the same time, is it the board's position to wait until they're ready, to do that, and what is that going to look like? So this gets to a tough call. It's very